guess it's better to just be ignored than constantly harassed. My grandpa Sean used to say that anger is just motivation without a purpose. If you're going to be angry, he'd say, do something useful with it. So I chopped a lot of firewood when I was a kid.
Sounds just like my dad. He was all about turning the other cheek. Don't react in anger. The more angry you are, the more power they have over you. Yeah, I tried so hard to see it his way. Now, it's probably too late.
What's your dad's name?
Reverend Charles William Davidson. I'm Charles William Davidson Jr. My friends call me Charlie. Charlie D, if you know me a bit.
I'm Shauna. Shauna Reed Hancock. Everyone calls me Doc. I'm named after my grandfather, Sean Reed. Everyone called him Sarge. Carried over from his Army service, I guess. It's so weird that we both have family that just have heart attacks. Your dad and my grandpa. Here we are.
My father would call this a spiritual appointment. It's like we're meant to meet for some reason. Tell me about your grandfather. When did he pass?
About a week and a few days ago. I was on the Joint Base of Alive when I got the Red Cross phone call. He's such a tough old bastard. It's hard to believe a heart attack would take him. My whole life I never thought once about him dying. He's always there. I feel like there's this huge hole where my heart should be. I loved him so much. Even if he could be a little rough around the edges, he always told it like it was, never bullshitted you about anything. I mean, he was always there. My mom would leave me with Grandpa Sean every summer to work with his farm, and we used to spend hours fishing on the lake near where he lived, after all the chores are done and shit. Some of my best memories are fishing on the lake with Grandpa Sean. And I was such a tomboy, but he never made me believe that because I was a girl, I couldn't do just as much as any man. He never tried to change me into something else. He taught me all the important stuff. How to change a tire, how to drink good whiskey, how to bait a fishing line, guy stuff. He taught me how to be a respectful, independent, and honorable person. He was a soldier, too, in Vietnam. I think I joined up to make him proud. Be a good sergeant like him. But what about your dad? Is he a good guy?
He's a good guy. But I mean, if you asked me that growing up, I can tell you how hard he was with me. How hard he pushed me to be better. He still does. He didn't, it wasn't that he didn't beat my brothers and I. He wasn't that type of father. But he wasn't warm and cuddly either. My father had standards and he expected us to see them. It wasn't that he didn't love us. It was just that he wanted the best from us, for us. My dad was all about the cause. Fought hard for civil rights. Believed everything that Dr. King was preaching, even marched in Washington with him. Got arrested a couple of times for marching for civil rights, even had his life threatened, but he kept going. I admired him so much, but I never really knew him. He never took me fishing or anything like that. I mean, people are telling me funny stories about him, and all I can think is, who are they talking about? My daddy didn't play, you know. You missed curfew by 1 minute and you got your ass chewed out. He was always worried about what shit we were into, what we were doing, who we were with. We went to church every Sunday. No excuses. When my oldest brother, John Davis, got drafted to go to Vietnam, my mother wanted to smuggle him over the Canadian border, but my father said no. A man stands up for what he believes in. Doesn't run from any fight. Even though he was a firm believer in peace and tolerance, he expected my brother to go because he felt like that was his obligation to his country. When John Davis died in Vietnam, I don't think my dad could ever forgive himself for not taking him over to Canada. But he told everybody how proud he was. He bragged about his service, which is weird because not everybody supported the war back then like they do now.
Yeah, my grandpa Sean talked about how nobody welcomed him home when he came back. There are no parades for men. I feel guilty when people do thank me for my service. I guess partly because guys like Grandpa Sean didn't get welcomed home, so why should I? And they got spit on and called names. Who does that? But, it's because of guys like my Grandpa Sean who stood up and spoke up that things have improved for us veterans. I keep telling myself every time someone welcomes me home or thanks me for my service, it's not just me they're thanking, it's him too.
I like to believe that my father's legacy is that important, but I just can't see it that way right now. My oldest brother got drafted to go to war in Vietnam, a war in which no one wanted to be in. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. He gave the ultimate sacrifice, and my dad bragged about his service like he was the one that changed the world. He didn't change the world. The white man treated us exactly the same way as they always treated us. My dad, this firm believer in peace and nonviolence, was so proud of my brother, the warrior. So I told myself, I'm going to fight. I'm going to find the justice in all of this. If they push you, get up and push back. Anything you want in this world, you're going to have to fight for because it's not going to be given to you. I spent my whole life fighting against a system that blamed me for the color of my skin. All my life, I'm told black people are rapists, criminals, drug dealers. If we ever had money, it's always from drugs and athletics. So I went out and proved them wrong. I went to college, got my MBA and my law degree. So I'm not ignorant. I travel the world, negotiate $1 million deals. I own my own business. So I'm not lazy. I've never touched drugs. I'm married to the love of my life for 25 years. We've raised 3 amazing kids. My oldest, who graduated high school, is going to Harvard, an education I'm paying for. I work twice as hard as the white man I employ, to the point where I can't even come home for a funeral of friends gunned down in my church because I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Because everything I've done, everything I've built can be taken away within one traffic stop, within one accusation, within one walk down the wrong street. I can't even come home and pray with my friends because I'm afraid of what will happen. I can't even sit next to a white girl in an airport because I'm afraid that people think I'm the one causing trouble. I constantly have to be on my guard.
Me too. It's exhausting. I mean, obviously it's different, but your life, your constant state of being alert, and that's how I live. I lived through a combat zone. We got shelled every night, so sleep was a luxury. I get home and I keep expecting it to happen here, so I barely sleep. And when I do, I have nightmares. I keep seeing all the faces of all the guys I tried to stitch back together, the ones shot defending our freedom. And the babies, the ones the locals would bring in missing limbs because they stepped on a landmine playing in their own yard. I can't stop seeing all the faces of all the guys I couldn't save. Is that what people are thanking me for when they say thank you for your service? Because the parades are great and all, but what about after that? What about when we self-medicate, we isolate ourselves, and when that doesn't work, what about when we kill ourselves? Are they thankful for that too? Are they thankful for my service as a woman when they see my dog tags and ask me about my non-existent husband? Is that how they thank me for my service? Or what about when I actually go to the VA for help and they want to know my sponsor social because I couldn't possibly be the veteran? You have to constantly prove your worth. I have to constantly prove that my service, my 2, now 3 tours, is worthy of respect. You tell people you're in combat and they look at you like you've got 2 heads because of course a woman would never be in combat. I mean, what do they think? Bullets bounce off of us? We're all in the rear with the gear. I'm a combat medic, I go where the combat is. But as a woman in the military, Jesus, it ain't no picnic either. I mean, I have served with some really honorable men, but there are a few assholes that just can't take no for an answer. Plus I'm gay. So of course there's always one of them that takes that as a challenge, and the others want to have a threesome with me and my girlfriend. It's disgusting. All I want to do is my job, and I have to deal with jerks like that. And being home, I still have to be careful about being openly gay because I'll get spit on, or called names, or even killed for loving another woman. I have literally been fighting for your freedom and my own, and neither of us have gotten it yet.